Kesari Chapter 2 Review. Akshay Kumar, R. Madhavan are fiery in this courtroom drama. Ananya Panday holds her own. Kesari Chapter 2 Movie Review. Bollywood's obsession with patriotism, nationalism, and jingoism isn't going to die anytime soon. Like a public service platform, every other week, it brings to us a film filled to the brim with Deshbhakti to remind us of the extraordinary sacrifices made by our brave men and of the illustrious country we live in, because, God forbid, what if we forget this week? It's Dharma Productions' turn with Kesari Chapter 2 The untold story of Jallianwala Bagh. Before we proceed further, let us reiterate that Kesari Chapter 2 is just a spiritual sequel to Kesari and has no connection to the Battle of Sarigari. The only common link between both the films is Akshay Kumar and his story of relentless courage. But to be honest, Kesari Chapter 2 brings to the table so much more than chest-thumping patriotism and Narabiza. It largely is a courtroom drama, and that precisely is what sets it apart from the plethora of other patriotic films. To put it more correctly, Kesari Chapter 2 is a historical film. Having said that, there are a handful of scenes like the one when Akshay's Justice Sankaran Nair realizes that it's time to stop being a lackey to the British and take matters into his own hands and bring justice to oppressed Indians that evoke the same sentiment that you may feel while watching a well-made patriotic drama. The film opens with a sequence that takes place on the fateful date of April 13, 1919, the day of the infamous Jallianwala Bagh massacre. A big crowd of Sikhs gathered at Amritsar's Jallianwala Bagh during Baisakhi to protest against the Rowlatt Act. We get a glimpse of a young boy named Barkat Singh, who has also arrived there with his mother and younger sister. As they prepare to protest against the oppression and ill-treatment meted out to them and their fellow brothers and sisters, they spot an aeroplane flying above them. Shortly thereafter, General Reginald Dyer arrives with his men including the Gorkha troop and starts firing at the innocent Sikhs. Barkat's mother and sister die and he finds shelter underneath a heap of dead bodies. Soon, the ground turns red with the blood of the protesters. And this forms the backdrop of Kesari Chapter 2. On the other hand, we're introduced to Justice Sankaran Nair, who happens to be the only Indian barrister in the Viceroy's Council. He often fights cases on behalf of the British against the Indians. But a meeting with Barkat, who holds a placard outside the Viceroy's office demanding justice for his mother and sister, proves to be an epiphany of sorts for Sankaran. Sankaran soon learns that Barkat's father, a poet and professor at Amritsar's National College, was put under arrest because of a court case he fought where he sided with the British. A young lawyer, Dilpreet Gill, also leaves an impact on him. He starts seeing through General Dyer's intentions and decides to go against him. But everything comes at a cost. Soon enough, the Viceroy's Council gets hold of ADV Neville McKinley to fight against Sankaran. Neville is also made to believe that Sankaran is the reason for the downfall in his career. What follows next in the courtroom as Sankaran tries to fight General Dyer and Neville, forms the second half of the film. As already mentioned, Kesari Chapter 2 begins on a high note. The makers invest time in showcasing the heart-wrenching tragedy of the Jallianwala Bagh massacre. It definitely makes you squirm and uncomfortable. But don't expect it to be as impactful and memorable as the one in Shujit Sarkar Sardarudham. Post this sequence, the film takes a while to establish the storyline and the characters to provide meat to the ultimate crux of the narrative. However, the action again picks up with the introduction of R. Madhavan's Neville. The exchange between Sankaran and Neville is impressive and is rather well written. The makers, thankfully, choose not to indulge in melodrama and high-octane, eardrum-blaring background score to elevate the screenplay. The B-Prox track, O Sharatir Te Taj, definitely add to the dramatic quotient of the film and will stay with you even after the film is over. What particularly stands out in Kesari Chapter 2 is its cast and their formidable performances. Akshay as Sankaran Nair has a towering presence. Inarguably, his last few acting outfits didn't give his fans the chance to see the best of him. The only exception was Sudhakongara Sarfira, which offered glimpses of the extraordinary actor lying underneath that stardom. And with Kesari Chapter 2, Akshay takes it up a notch. Here, he's completely sheds off his image and aura as a superstar and chooses to lean on his acting prowess. He truly is top-notch in the film. R. Madhavan as Neville McKinley also shines bright. Known for his artistic finesse and versatility, here he sheds off his inhibitions and comfortably lets Akshay take the front seat. But even then, Madhavan proves why he's one of the best in the business. His frustration, haplessness, and vulnerability is palpable. His scenes with Akshay are to watch out for. Ananya too gives it her all and does a brilliant job as Dilpreet Gill. Her steady growth as an actor with each project is a reminder that she's truly one to look out for. In a scene, a lawyer at the Viceroy's office is seen deriding and underestimating her for being the only female lawyer in a male-dominated courtroom. But she holds her own. And kudos to her for also holding her own amid powerhouse performers like Akshay and Madhavan. But the one thing about Kesari Chapter 2 that will truly stand out is Masabagupta. Yes, you heard it right. In an interesting case of casting against the grain, the makers rope in on the designer actor to play a cabaret dancer. She's bold, beautiful, and owns her sexuality with subtle flamboyance. There's so much untapped talent waiting to explore here. Amit Syal and Simon Paisley Day as General Dyer also deserve a special mention. Regina Cassandra, however, doesn't get to contribute much to the narrative. But if you're a fan of courtroom dramas, do give Kesari Chapter 2 a watch. It may not be the best out there but will definitely entertain you. And that's why director Karan Singh Tyagi's earnest intent deserves brownie points. Latest blogs.